So we had the UFC London on the weekend. And I wanted to get on here and quickly just talk about what everybody's been talking about. Sean Brady. Sean Brady's performance. And granted, yes, Sean Brady's performance was awesome. I mean, it was definitely, it was a one-sided destruction of Leon Edwards. But is the praise that Sean Brady is getting warranted? He definitely is deserving of being in the top rankings. There's no question. I mean, Leon Edwards being number one, obviously coming off a loss to Bilal. But the reason why I don't think it's as exciting as a lot of people are going on about is because Bilal just painted the blueprint as to what to do to beat Leon. And if you watch that tape enough, it doesn't take very much to realize that Leon quits. Leon gives up on himself when he is facing a relentless wrestler. And if you got a good guard and you can close the distance, he will get frustrated and he will quit. He gives up in the fight. So Brady, sure, absolutely destroyed Leon Edwards, but he destroyed a fighter who was never going to beat him. He was never going to win that fight. Leon was never going to win that fight. Definitely impossible to say he could have had a chance at winning that fight after that performance. You watch what he did in there, and I mean, I don't want to shit on the guy, but he just demonstrated that he's content to just hang around in the top 10. And collect checks, and that's fine. I mean, that's what I said in my last video about this, predicting his loss. I think he's just content to, make that $250,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year fighting in the top 10. And he lost that hunger after he won the belt. So, granted, again, I'm not trying to take anything away from Brady because he did do a great performance. I'm just saying that I don't think all the hype that people are putting around him now is quite as warranted as people like to think. I still think Shavkat deserves the next title challenge after Della Maddalena. And there's a possibility that I think a good shot between put Shavkat and Brady against each other. That's sort of been talked about a little bit in the last few videos I've watched online. And I agree with that. And I thought that myself, that with Bilal already scheduled to fight, you got to give these two something to do. And it would narrow the gap and it would make it a little bit more exciting in this division to see that fight take place. Shavkat and Brady. That would be a great fight. And if I'm being honest, after Shavkat's last performance against Ian Gary, I may give Brady the edge. But Shavkat still does have that undefeated record, so there's that mystique. And that can sometimes affect the psyche of fighters going into it. Never seeing or having any blueprint to show you the way to a win can definitely create some psychological doubts. So Shavkat still definitely has a shot at winning that fight, no question. But I do just feel like Brady's going to have the edge on that. Now, what's next for Leon Edwards? I mean, Leon is coming off of 2 losses now. 2 very disappointing performances. Do we continue to give him top contenders? I mean, he feels like he earned his way. He defended his belt twice. It feels like he still should be getting those top contender fights. I mean, if Brady says no to fighting Shavkat, or Shavkat says no to fighting Brady, and that fight doesn't happen, then perhaps we see Brady or Shavkat take on Leon. But again, the blueprint has already been created as to how to beat Leon, and Shavkat was likely just to follow that same blueprint. So that could be a already predetermined end to that one. Maybe not worth the schedule. But it's hard to say what's next for Leon, because I do feel like Leon is destined to become the next Neil Magny. And just kind of be a gatekeeper, take some strikers who are up-and-comers, and maybe use Leon as their fraud check. He's definitely not going to be a wrestling fraud check, right? So I can't see any other future for Leon after those performances other than the next Neil Magny. So let's move on to the next the co-main event, which was Jan Blachowicz and Carlos Ulberg, which, again, I predicted that Jan would neutralize Ulberg and slow him down and humble him. And it looked as though Ulberg was definitely hesitant. They traded some kicks back and forth in the first round. There wasn't really any big moments. Not really much to go on. It just seemed as though both fighters were playing it safe. Jan seemed to edge it out with the damaging leg kicks. That's what a lot of people, myself included. But at the same time, I mean, nobody really took it to each other. So I don't necessarily think anybody really had big moments in that fight. So what's next for either fighter? I mean, Jan lost, and he's coming off losses. He's 42 years old. I don't really see much more for Jan to do in that light heavyweight division. He may need to start considering moving up to heavyweight. Start really channeling that old man Polish power that he talks about. And as for Carlos, again, Carlos didn't really showcase any real urgency or desperation for a title shot. He just tried to edge out a win. And after a performance like that, I don't necessarily know if he gets any kind of title shot yet. I think him and Yuri would be a great fight. People have been saying that as well, and I can't help but agree. That sounds like a great next matchup for Carlos. I think it would generate a more exciting fight because, again, Jan played it safe too. He didn't want to, charge in. He just kicked, and yeah, his leg kicks did some damage. I don't necessarily see the fight going that way with Yuri. I think Yuri's the type of guy who's going to get in there and make it exciting. And if I had to pick a winner off that one, I'm going to have to go with Carlos Ulberg for a winner against Yuri, because I think Carlos hits hard. He's got that really tricky check left hook, and Yuri has been knocked out a couple of times now. So it's hard not to think Carlos would potentially catch him and put him down. But that's definitely where I think Carlos needs to go next. I'd be very interested to see what they got for him. I don't think he necessarily deserves a title shot, but he definitely... I wouldn't be upset if he got it somehow, if they gave it to him. But I think there's people in line before him that might be interesting. And that about wraps up what I got to say about the two fights that were worth talking about, I guess, in terms of the relevance. There wasn't really much more to talk about. Shauna Bannon had a pretty fun, entertaining fight. I was definitely not expecting her to win. The first fight on the preliminary card was entertaining. I don't have their names in front of me at the moment, but definitely entertained and surprised. The winner of that fight, I think it's Fernandez. Jeez. That was an impressive, dominating win. I think we're definitely going to have to keep our eye on him. But other than that, that's really about it. We'll be back to talk about this weekend. I'll be making a video later this week to sort of break down what to expect with that. If you like this content, if you enjoy our channel, please follow up. We're definitely going to be talking more about video games as well. I have decided to delve into the game Death Stranding because I beat Days Gone, and I'm going to be doing a review about that. But Days Gone was incredible. Led me to want to challenge games that I may not have given the chance because of poor reviews. Because Days Gone got ridiculously poor reviews for no reason, in my opinion. And I've read some mixed reviews about Death Stranding. A lot of people rating it as another misunderstood masterpiece. I'm about 10 hours in. I wouldn't go so far as to say I am thinking it's a masterpiece. But Hideo Kojima is definitely, it feels like he could be, he's kind of like the Chris Nolan of video game directing. And I want to keep playing because it's intriguing. The world that they're building is pretty intriguing. So I'm excited to see where it goes. And apparently it continues to open up the story and gets quite good at around the 15-hour mark, which seems crazy that you have to invest that kind of time to play a video game before you start to enjoy it. But it is world building that I'm feeling like I'm going through right now in that game. And the cast and acting is incredible. The graphics seem really beautiful. Please look forward to that potential review. And again, Days Gone review is going to be coming up soon. So please hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back.